This is everything I'd do to start making money online as a teenager. I got into entrepreneurship when I was 14 and made over $10,000 per month by the time I was 19 years old. I also know countless other teenagers that are younger than me and making way more, and this is the guide that I wish I had. When I was 14, I was your standard degenerate kid. I didn't work out, I wasted a lot of time playing video games, and I was constantly getting into trouble with friends from my class. It was a lot of what I like to call empty fun, and I knew that deep down I wasn't actually doing anything meaningful. But everything changed for me when I came across this movie called The Social Network, and I watched how this nerdy small kid went on to create a tech conglomerate with just his laptop, and most importantly for me, how he was able to make money online as a teenager. Fast forward a few years and I continued to play the school game, got into the gym, won a ton of academic awards, but always wanted to scratch that entrepreneurial itch that I had back then. And well, this year I did. And everything that I'm about to share is how you can do it faster than me. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to learn a high income skill. Now I know you've probably heard this a million times and you're sick of hearing it, but forget about me. Listen to what my multi-million-dollar mentor told me. He told me that you get paid in proportion to the value that you provide. So yeah, what that means is you can't be lazy and you actually have to learn something. But luckily for you, you're a teenager and you have literally all the time in the world. Definitely don't be like me and waste it all. So this is how I did it. First, I looked at the things that I was good at and what I was naturally interested in. I've always been good at school, was majoring in computer science, and just loved technology. But I was also obsessed with these college YouTubers and tech review channels, so I decided to learn the skill of content creation. Now this worked for me because I was already doing some of this without even knowing it. I wasn't just jumping into a random field because I want to make a quick buck. Maybe you're analytical and you want to get into day trading. Maybe you're really good with people and making friends and you want to become a high ticket closer. Maybe you don't know yet. And guess what? You're 14. Doesn't matter. You're completely fine. But what that does mean is that it's time to get to work and start trying things out. And guys, seriously, avoid one of the mistakes that I made. And don't overcomplicate this. Studies show that it only takes 20 hours of pure intense focus to become competent in any field. Obviously, this doesn't apply if you're trying to become a surgeon or something. And truly, I believe based on my experience that it only takes 6 months of dedication and consistency to reach a high level of skill. By no means are you going to be a master, but guess what? I'm not one either. And you also don't need to be one to charge high prices. So go learn a high income skill. All right, so you've got your high income skill. Now you need to market. So with me, after learning all the skills associated with content creation, like video editing, project management, thumbnail design, and much more, I realized I had a small problem. See, nobody actually knew about me or the service that I was offering. And this is where marketing comes in. Technically, it's outbound lead generation, but we're not there yet. Now, I'm not talking about posters or handing out flyers or things that people did in like 1995. I'm talking about what the people like me are using today and what actually works. So I went to my group of entrepreneur friends and I was like, guys, I know what I'm gonna do, but how can I spread the word about it? And this is the secret that they told me. You need to do cold outreach directly to the people that you actually want to work with. If you're running Facebook ads for chiropractors, then you need to reach out to chiropractors. If you're doing web design for e-commerce brands, then you need to get in touch with those companies. Now you can do this through Instagram, you can do this through email, you can do this through LinkedIn. It honestly doesn't really matter. What does matter is the volume. See, the mistake that I made when I was just getting started is I severely underestimated the amount of volume of work it's going to take to see results. Like for context, just last month, things were a little bit slower and haven't been fully focused because I was literally gone on vacation for like a week and a half. And just last month, we sent 300 messages per day. And the crazy part is that if you told me that 6 months ago, I would have thought that's completely impossible. And what's funny is that today now, I know that I'm severely not doing enough outreach as I should. Now this should both scare and motivate you because the common denominator throughout all of this, and what I always say to people that are trying to get into business, is that volume negates luck. Honestly, you can be much worse than me, but if you do more than what I'm willing to do, then you will beat me. Okay, so you've got a skill, you're reaching out to people. Now what? This is honestly the hardest part and what I had wished I had known when I was 14. And you might not like this, but it's that you've just got to put in the reps. See, everyone wants to promise you 10K in 30 days or get rich in 3 minutes type crap. The fact of the matter is that this comes down to the time and the repetitions that you actually put in. It's gonna take time for your skills to get to the point where you can start to charge money, and believe me, you're gonna get hundreds of people that ghost you in the messages that you send out. Like for me, I was making videos for months that got absolutely no views, all the while balancing my final year of high school. In university, I spent hours building lists and manually reaching out to people one by one for people that didn't even open my message. Some of them still haven't even responded by now. And I think that the gym is a great parallel to this, because it's not like after your first 30-minute workout, you're gonna, step on the scale and see numbers go down, or you're not gonna look in the mirror and see bolder shoulders or anything. It's not how real life works. But despite all those things and all of those different obstacles, I never gave up. And I never stopped once. Even when your friends want to hang out with you and it's so easy to say yes. Even when you're seeing absolutely no results and you think that this entire thing is pointless. Even if you're in the position that I was, and it's easier to just continue to be the straight A student and give up on this entrepreneurship stuff. Fact of the matter is that you keep pushing through it. Because the two universal business truths are that hard work compounds and volume negates luck. So all right, you get the idea. You're starting to be patient, but now what do you do in the meantime? So you're now at a stage where you're continually getting better at the skill that you're learning. You've been sending out a ton of messages and you're continuing to be consistent on the path that you are on. But obviously the question is, what more can you do to expedite the process? Looking back on it now, when I was at this point, there was one thing that I had that I know just completely sped up this process for me. And that was being part of a community of winners. See, when I was just getting started in business, I honestly had no idea what I was doing. And by luck, I managed to meet my business mentor in the college study room beside me. After talking with him and draining all the money I had left in my bank accounts, I ended up joining their group of young business owners and hustlers that were getting after it. Every week, we talked about our businesses, diagnosed problems, and learned from each other while all being in the field. Having this group behind me not only made the journey of entrepreneurship not so lonely, but the things that I learned from them in this short period of time helped me scale to over $10,000 per month at the age of 19. And that is the exact type of community that we're building on this YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe so you can become a part of it. Now finally, you've got your offer, you're sending messages, you've got the right mindset, and you're surrounded by a group of winners. Now what are the final steps to start making money as a teenager? And luckily for you guys, it actually becomes pretty simple at this point. And that's because of what I said. Hard work compounds, and it does pay off. If you are continually learning and iterating and providing value to the right people, it's actually hard not to make money, even as a teenager. So the real question becomes, how do you actually put that money into your bank account? Now, by this point in my journey, I'd sent out a ton of messages and I'd actually gotten some calls lined up from everything that I had sent out. Now, this was to either walk through our system or to check out a free video that we made them, or honestly, even just if they were interested in the service itself. Now, there are a couple different ways that you're gonna wanna close deals, especially if you're a teenager. The best I find is a combination of being authentic and telling good stories. Let me explain. First up, authenticity. Look, if you're 14, you probably look and sound that way as well. Sorry to break it to you. But luckily for you, people love giving young hustlers a chance. I know this kid who's like 15 and he uses this exact strategy for his short form content agency, and he makes bank. Your age is not a limitation and you can actually use it to your advantage. The next thing that's gonna help you close a ton of deals is to tell stories. My brother in Christ, this is not the Wolf of Wall Street. You are not Jordan Belfort, and you're probably not going to be hard closing anybody on large upfront cash payments. But if you can share stories about the results that you're getting, or how you can guarantee to provide value like we talked about at the very beginning, you can definitely work your way up to bigger payments. And hey, at 14, I didn't make a single dollar. And if I had to guess, you're not paying for rent, you're not paying for a car, and if you were only able to make $100, you should feel super proud about that. Because if you're able to make $100 online, then you can make $1,000. And if you can make $1,000, then trust me, you can make $10,000 online. Be consistent, work hard, understand you're playing a long game, and you won't be surprised when you start winning. Be sure to subscribe and watch this video here.